Happy Mother's Day.
Yes, after service. Yes. No, I'm saying for 1 o'clock.
That's Armand and Angelina. All the way from Florida. Hey, wow. It's been 4 years, right, that they visited with us and did a whole weekend. So we're very happy they're back. And we're going to just be steeped in Armand and Angelina this weekend. Because a little bit after our social hour at 1 o'clock, they're presenting a beautiful harp and sacred sound meditation. So you get to fill up on that healing music.
And here's the sound of the sacred harp.
Did you feel that? You got to come stand here to feel that. Wow. And then tomorrow night, we're going to, who needs to laugh less? Right? We have a few people that just are laughing way too much. Personally, I could use a little more laughter because I get kind of serious, but tomorrow night we have a musical comedy, and you all have the flyers, the ones that are here. That's going to be from 6:30 to 8. It helps us if you register on Breeze, but if you don't, just come, show up, that's fine as well. And so let's begin this morning with a hello to everybody who's joining us online. And of course, all of you who are here, because it's always yummier to be together in person. So today we have Armand and Angelina, and their topic is, I now pronounce you
not
guilty. And we are online, and we are on our website, and we are on Twitter, on Facebook, on Meetup. We are on YouTube. There's all kinds of places where you can find us. And if you are online today, we're really glad you're with us. make a comment, say hello to each other, use the bubbles. If you're on YouTube, there's also a place to make comments. We always love to have feedback. The other thing that I want you to know about is on July 16th, our beloved Cat Roman is doing a sound bath, which is always magical. But before that, I want you to pick up this green flyer because Center for Spiritual Living, North Jersey, and us, and several Unity Centers are planning a food and fun gathering in Vassar Park in Hackettstown on June 17th, which is going to be really fun to just hang out with more people of like mind, and it's from 3 to 8, so pick up the flyer so you can register. And we have social hour today, but if anyone wants to facilitate our social hour, there's a sign-up sheet on the door as you go out. You can pick your dates, and so we'll take care of the coffee, and you just bring the snacks, and I'm happy to guide you how all that works. Okay, so let us start with saying hello to one another, and then after that I'll do an opening treatment. So we do a namaste practice here. Namaste is where we greet one another. Namaste is the Sanskrit word for divinity in me. It blesses the divinity in you. So be sure not just to give, but to also receive. Put your hands together. And just greet someone or everyone, whatever you like.
Namaste.
Namaste. What goes back to you? And let's treat. Our word for affirmative prayer, where we turn to that secret, sacred space within our heart of hearts, where only the truth is known, where truth ever resides, awaiting our recognition. And so right here, right now, we open our mind, our hearts, our bodies, and our souls to the divine flow at hand, which is ever present. We know this by means of our breath. We know this by means of our heartbeat, and we know this by means of a gazillion things every day. And today, because we're tuned in, we allow it to fall where it needs to fall, whether it's in our physical bodies, our mind, our heart, our soul, the world, anywhere in the world, our beautiful planet, any tribe, any people, any group of people that needs it most. We extend our divine flow to the world, and we witness healing, regardless of what our ego mind does with that. We witness, we choose to witness the healing that is taking place on the planet, and because we are instruments of the divine, we take a deeper commitment to that calling, to ever hold that higher vision of healing, to ever know that healing is spirit revealing itself, and to ever be not just a witness, but a recipient, that person that receives. So with glory and with grace and with joy and with awe, we turn this word over to the universal law, which knows exactly how to demonstrate it for each and every one of us as individualized expressions of the divine. So with gratitude then, we allow today and the workshop this afternoon and the event tomorrow with Armand and Angelina to be a blessing and a gift to all. And so it is.
And so it is.
We are delighted to be back with you. I think maybe around 2010 was our first time to be here. And our very first New Jersey tour, Reverend Frankie was one of the very first ministers that took a chance on us as part of the world. By the way, it's awesome to have you here, especially doing the treatment. We're not used to the ministers being at the church when we're there. We don't know if that's because they need time off or they don't know how to explain us to the crowd. But either way, delightful to have you here. I remember our very first tour, we played here, and we also played the Center for Conscious Living down south. And I got very confused. And I finally figured out how to say the difference between the two churches. So it's the Center for Spiritual Living Morristown and the Center for Spiritual Living Morristown. And if you say it like that, they don't get confused. But I was saying Morristown, and nobody knew where the heck we went. So I'm like, where is Morristown? I'm learning. So delighted to be back with you all here, and I feel like the vibration is higher here, and we are higher up in the air than at the other place. And so we love your place. It's crisp, it's happy. A group this size might have gotten lost in the other place, but here it's filling up. So we're just delighted to be a part of your space. And another thing I want to thank Reverend Frankie for is we started back full-time last year after a few years off. And she is allowing us to do all of our programs like she always does. And some of the churches have said to us, the centers around the country have said, well, we're not going to do all that until we're fully back. And I'm like, we want to be part of you getting fully back. We don't want to wait. It's kind of like people that say, I'm not going to be in a relationship until I've worked on all my stuff. And they're single forever, because we're always working on our stuff. Angela and I have been together 22 years. Trust me, we've been working on our stuff together, lifting each other. And so we're glad to be part of your new growth and the new norm or whatever we're doing. So let's do a joy song. I'm going to sum up almost all spiritual practices and the Course in Miracles and the Science of Mind in 4 simple words. Love is a boomerang. Our thoughts and our words and our actions that we put out into the universe come back to us. Now, putting out is a little bit of a weird thing because we're not really putting out, we're putting in, because we are all part of everything. So, of course, everything we put into the universe of which we are is happening to us at the same time. Okay, 4 words. Love is a boomerang.
Love is a boomerang.
Everybody sing with me.
Love is a boomerang.
Give it away and it comes right back.
Love is a boomerang.
Hear the words that set you free.
Love is a boomerang.
Give it away and it comes right back.
Love is a boomerang. Love is a boomerang.
Give it away and it comes right back.
Love is a boomerang.
Hear the words that set you free.
Love is a boomerang.
Give it away and it comes right back. Give it, listen everybody, what's burning in my soul. It's something you can use, gonna make you help us safe and whole. You can read it in the Bible, it's in the golden rule. You don't need to go to the land down under to find this magic to be.
Love is a boomerang.
So is money, so is kindness.
Love is a boomerang.
Give it away and come back.
Love is a boomerang.
So is anger, so is judgment.
Love is a boomerang.
Give it away and it comes right back. When you wake up in the morning, try a different attitude. While you're drinking coffee, fill yourself with gratitude. Try loving everything you see, it'll change the way you live. There ain't no way to outlive God, I guarantee you.
Love is a boomerang.
So is money, so is kindness.
Love is a boomerang.
Give it away and come back.
Love is a boomerang.
So is anger, so is judgment.
Love is a boomerang.
Give it away and come back.
Love is a boomerang.
I feel an old-fashioned revival coming to my town.
Love is a boomerang.
You give it away and it comes right back.
Love is a boomerang.
Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Oh yeah?
Love is a boomerang.
Help me, Jesus. Love is a boomerang. So is money, so is kindness.
Love is a boomerang.
Give it away and come right back.
Love is a boomerang.
So is anger, so is judgment.
Love is a boomerang.
Give it away and come right. Give it away and come right. Can't give it away.
Yes!
This is a mighty group. I love it. I love it. So, happy Mother's Day, everyone. Mothers. Wow. Wow. We were watching Titanic last night. I was on Paramount watching with my aunt, who's 84, visiting from Louisiana. My cousin lives in Princeton, Lawrenceville, so we're all visiting at the same time. And I'm thinking, that was some heavy, heavy movie in Titanic. And I'm thinking about the whole idea of motherhood. Motherhood, to me, Okay, here's how you know Jesus was a Jew. He went into his father's business, and his mother thought he was God. Now, but here's the deal. She had it right, because she saw the Christ in him. The same way the representation of mother sees that their kids can do no wrong. Okay? Even when they mess up, they know their kid is divine. And to me, that is what motherhood is all about. Motherhood is about seeing the Christ. Another example is the Phantom of the Opera. Phantom of the Opera, Christine saw the Christ consciousness in the Phantom, even though nobody else did. And when we see good in people, when we see good in all people, even when they're not acting good, we raise up their vibration, okay? And they step up to the plate. So today's message, we're going to be talking a lot about, I now pronounce you not guilty, to look at your divine innocence, okay? So what we'd like to start with is a little bit of a meditation. We're going to do a chant, a little bit of music meditation, and meditation can often be a way to be receptive and to open your consciousness to receive the messages that you're meant to get today. And everybody's here to get a different message, but we are all here by divine appointment. Okay, so the chant is peace in every moment. Peace I am, peace in every moment, peace in every moment, peace I am. Peace I am, peace in every moment, peace in every moment, peace I am. Peace I am, peace in every moment, peace in every moment, peace I am. Peace I am, peace in every moment, peace in every moment, peace I am. Peace I am, peace in every moment, peace in every moment, peace I am. And we invite you to quiet the mind, relax, and allow the music to take you on your very own sacred journey as we invite in Spirit and the message that we are most meant to receive today. We are co-creating today's service with you. very gently now, begin to bring your attention to this time and place, this sacred space, as we fully embrace this holy now moment. For only right here, right now, can we truly experience the peace of God, the peace of all that is. The Christ Buddha consciousness within all of us. Thank you, Great Spirit, Father, Mother, God, Goddess, all that is. And we declare it together, and so it is. All is well. All is well. God is balanced. All is well. There's perfection everywhere. All is well. And so. So I have to ask my wife something, honey.
Yes.
Are you wondering how I'm going to tie that Titanic thing in?
Yes, I am.
So she's used to her ADHD husband squirreling and never coming back to what we were talking about.
But I don't doubt that it's going to be wonderful.
I lost it for a second, but here's the reason I brought up Titanic. Because how many people saw the movie Godspell? Or the play? It was from the 60s, and it was a kind of an updated version of the Jesus movement. There's another great updated version, well, not really updated, it's from the 60s. It's currently out, it's called The Jesus Revolution, and it's currently out, but it's about a true story that happened in the 60s, where the hippie Jesus movement was mixing with the traditional Jesus movement, and the hippies didn't feel welcome, kind of like most of us didn't feel welcome in traditional churches, and we found New Thought in the Science of Mind. And it's a wonderful story, and I love any kind of movie that bridges two groups of people and finds the common denominator, or what they call in mathematics the Venn diagram, or the Vesica Pisces. And that's when you take two circles and you overlap them and you find that little fish-shaped thing in the middle. So here's where I'm going to tie the Titanic into it. In the movie and the play, Godspell, that came out in the late 60s, maybe early 70s, the young man that played the Jesus figure was in the Titanic that James Cameron did. He was the boat builder. And what he said at the very end is he said to Rose, "I wish I had built you a better boat." And I looked at him and I said, "Honey, that's Jesus from Godspell. And he's still a builder." So next time you watch it, you'll be able to see the guy. So I now pronounce you not guilty. I don't know about you, but my very first church that I went into was a Catholic church. I assume we have a lot of Catholics here as well. Angelina and I are actually 3/4 Catholic. And what I love about New Thought and the Science of Mind is it doesn't push other stuff away. It invites you to bring it in and apply a more open-minded, metaphysical, larger meaning to the same stuff, because it's all God, and we just have to find a way that makes it work for us. So New Thought and Science of Mind is a inclusive philosophy versus an exclusive religion. Now, in that early religion that I heard things like, "You were born in original sin." Anybody ever hear that? Dr. Phil would say, "How's that working for you?" Not so good. By the way, did you notice at 5 minutes to 11 there were 4 people here? And then, within minutes, the loaves and the fish have multiplied. Wow, to 10 times. Amazing. Good energy here. Good energy. So, I learned in New Thought. I didn't start going to New Thought churches until 1984. And then they said, "You were not born in original sin. You were born as an original blessing. And that felt so much better to me. I'm like, this is my home. This is how I want to hear spirituality. Inclusive, inviting me in to know my divinity. Okay, and so the rest is all there. You started probably a few years later than I did in New Jersey?
No, in Florida, but I did go to a Unity church in Teaneck years ago, because I lived in New Jersey for like a year. And so I went to that church.
And my dad was born in Vineland. How we doing? People tell me nobody talks like that but you. Okay, sorry. I got very excited when coming to New Jersey the first time because I said, my dad was here. That was awesome.
But I did start New Thought like in 1990. And so I was talking with a friend and we were just talking about things that we were into and what we did. And he said, I have a church I'd like for you to go to. And so that's how I got introduced to New Thought. The minute I got there, I was like, yes, this is so what I need.
Most of us didn't realize there was a place weird enough for us. But then we found Science of Mind or Unity or something like that, and all of a sudden we're like, yes, this is where we are. So today's message is all around the idea that you were born as an original blessing. But the challenge is our culture, our peers, our advertisers, and unfortunately our caretakers didn't always know that. Because a lot of the times it was like, you're such a good little girl or such a good little boy, as long as we're not inconvenienced. The minute we could become inconvenienced, we use other words. I actually thought I was Jesus because my mom would go, Jesus, what did you do? Thank you very much. So we are divine. We are born in divinity. We are one with divinity. New Thought will rarely ever tell you what your limitations are. But I'm here to tell you something that's impossible. It's impossible, no matter how hard you try, to ever be unlovable. Who's tried? You can try, but you can't be unlovable. You can do something unloving. You can do something unkind. You can sin/miss the mark. All of that, yeah, we get to do all that. We watch them, we like movies. You're going to hear a lot of movie references here. We're going to close with a song that was inspired by the best exotic Marigold Hotel. Anybody ever see that one? Okay. Do y'all remember what the innkeeper said when anybody complained? You're going to find out. We're going to save that later. It won't be quite, the Titanic thing. Okay. So what was we saw a movie on Apple TV called The Sky is Everywhere. What a fabulous thing. That's like another word for God is everywhere. There's no place spirit is not. And this young girl had done something really, really horrible because she was grieving over the loss of her older sister who passed away, and she couldn't deal with it. You've probably heard the bumper sticker. Hurt people, hurt people. She was hurt, and she hurt people, and she was mean, and she lied, and she just did a bunch of terrible stuff. And it was overall this one friendship that she just ghosted. Anybody ever been ghosted?
Yes.
Horrible. Just tell me if you don't like me. I won't be talking to you anymore. It's not good for me. I love you. I remember one of my friends, I needed to not be around them anymore. It wasn't working, and I said, I can't have a friendship with you. We're not a vibrational match. And she said, well, why? I said, because it doesn't work. The way you speak to me doesn't feel right to me, and I don't want you to change it. Just, well, what is it? This and this. Well, why don't you change you so that doesn't bother you? And I go, I'm 62 years old. I'd rather just not worry about it and not be around people that trigger me so much. So finally, she said, well, I just don't understand it. I'll never understand it. And I said, look, you are a gorgeous flower. Absolutely wonderful. I've just become allergic to your pollen. Never thought that seemed to do the trick. But sometimes all the spiritual masters said love your neighbor, but they never said like your neighbor. We're not here to like everybody. We're not here to like every job. We're not here to like every church. We're here to love all of it, but find what resonates with us the most.
Right. So you did that very beautifully and very kind and lovingly. And at the same time, you took care of yourself and loved yourself, which we find is sometimes not always easy to love others, but to really love and honor ourselves is not always easy, and what we're not usually taught necessarily either.
We're taught to love thy neighbor, but we forget about the other half, love thy neighbor as thyself. And that's the tricky one. That, to me, that is the new earth, is learning to love ourselves the way we have loved God and the way we have loved others. To love ourselves and put ourselves. Here's a great lie. Let's see if anybody else, you've heard all the great lies. I've never done this before. Or your check's in the mail. You're my first. But anyway. But one of the great lies is, and raise your hand if you've ever told yourself this lie. If I'm having a relationship challenge, I haven't done enough. It's not true. It's not true. You may have done all that you can do. You may have made your amends. You may have apologized. You may have done everything you could to find a lane that you and that person could be in, and it still doesn't work. And guess what? That's okay. Okay. So, Angelina has a delightful story about the way to see people differently when you judge them for being obnoxious or whatever they are that you have judged. Hurt people hurt people.
Right, so this is from Greg Bear's Real Love, and his work is wonderful. It's about relationships and all. So one thing he says is that we're in behaviors. The behaviors that we do are protecting behaviors because we don't feel lovable, we don't feel loved. And so some of those are like clinging, attacking, running, lying. And so we're all using these behaviors just to feel like we're surviving in a world that's difficult for. So what he says, this is the story. You're sitting by a pool with your friends and you're having a wonderful time and someone splashes water on you. And you're not really happy, but you know, it's okay, it's a swimming pool, people are having fun, and you still are talking to your friends and all, and then they splash you again. And now you're going, okay, I'm not really liking that, but okay, then we'll just let it go.
You're starting to scream and make a bunch of noise. It's like, oh my God, how about some peace?
And then they really splash you where you're like really wet and you're really angry. And you turn around to yell at this person and these people that are being loud and not respectful. And when you turn around and see it's a person drowning, and they're just trying to get, so they're not underwater. Now, all of a sudden, your view on things is much different than when you thought someone was being disrespectful and unkind. And so what Greg Bear says is if you see people acting out a behavior, it's because they're drowning for love. They're drowning for unconditional love, and that is their cry for help.
It's a beautiful story. So Greg Beer happens to be our favorite relationship coach, and we've actually worked with him and done some coaching with him. We used to teach some of his stuff. But what he talks about is this idea that all we really, really want is unconditional love. We just want unconditional love. To me, that's what motherhood stands for. Unconditional love. A place where no matter what's going on in the world, you can go to your mother, your mom, and get some of that. That would be the ideal. And sometimes they're not your biological mom. Okay? I believe the Spirit shows up and gives us what we need, and sometimes it's not your biological mom. Okay? And so, but we want that feeling of no matter what I say, do, or anything, I'm unconditionally loved. And that's the way God loves us, Angelina and I, when we first started dating, I thought the shoe was going to fall like it always did. And so, after we were together for about a year and a half, I go, and she says to me, she says, you're the most amazing person I've ever met in my life. And I'm like, you don't know me that good. But thank you. And then, she would say it a few years later, maybe 3 or 4 years later, she goes, I really think you're the most amazing person. I said, if I could only love me the way you do, I could quit all my therapy. And so then after maybe about 8 or 9 years, she said the same thing, and I said, thank you. We need to be around people that see that in us. You know, if I could only love me the way you do, if we could only love ourselves the way Spirit loves us, that is unconditional love. And to me, that's what motherhood is all about, ideally. The energy, and there's that mothering energy is in everybody, male, female, and everything else. It's always there. And so Greg says, it's very important with your children, your grandchildren, your friends, and everybody, because every single person here has an inner child that is still in them. Here's how I know you are not, that you have an inner child. Have you ever heard any spiritual teaching that said you are an adult of God? You won't. You're a child of God. There's a part of you that is childlike. And what that means is innocence, trusting, believing. You know, any Ted Lasso people out here? Oh, Ted Lasso? I'm like, how this season ends will affect my year. Anyway, so Ted says, I love the smell of church. The feel of the church. Feels like potential. When I see the word impossible, I see I'm possible. You see? When somebody shoots him the finger and goes, I am number one. Thank you. When somebody does something horrible to Ted, and somebody says, what's that all about? Ted goes, it's an inside joke. Mostly inside of them. Okay. That's the way to be, positive and childlike. Ted is very childlike. Okay. And so we have
and
to
also to know those feelings of you know, all positive and all. We want to make sure we get the feelings that if we're sad, if we're angry, to acknowledge that. And we always say it's how quickly we can move through that. So we don't deny that, but we don't want to live it.
Right, we don't run from it, we walk through it. Okay? And so Greg says, when you're dealing with people, be aware that what they most want is unconditional love. So don't ever take your anger, your resentment, or your disappointment out on somebody. Anger, resentment, and disappointment are natural. They need to be dealt with. They need to be acknowledged. They need to be sometimes embraced for a little while. Ram Dass has a great saying about anger, resentment, and disappointment. He goes, when I hear them knocking at my door, I invite them in, acknowledge them, give them a quick drink, and then show them the door. That way, you know, it's kind of like feel your anger, but don't buy property there. Feel your resentment, but don't buy property there. Feel it, acknowledge it, and then let it go. Elsa had it right. Let it go, let it go. So anyway, when we're dealing with people and we start to feel resentful about something that they've done, because if you're in a relationship, it will happen. Disappointed about somebody not giving you what you thought they should, it will happen because expectations sneak in. Or even anger. Don't take it out on them. If you're feeling angry about anything somebody wrote on social media, do not write back. At least for them. Because he says that when things get us resentful, angry, and disappointed, we empty out a little bit. It's like our consciousness has a leak in it, and it gets out a little bit, and we're not feeling filled up with spirit. He says you need to be full again before you deal with that. So here's a great example. Do you have something?
Well, I was going to say what I do, because and I learned this through menopause, because I never know where my mood is going to be, right? So I find when I get a little triggered and I want to react, it's better for me just to leave and come back when I'm more at peace and centered and filled up. So because if you react, you then are in a behavior that's not kind and loving, and it gets the other person to react, and then you have a mess. So it's better for me, I just go outside in my little chair that I sit out there, and I just breathe and figure out, okay, what is this all about? And is it something that we need to talk about, or is it just my stuff and my trigger, and 99% of the time it's my trigger and my stuff. But it's good to just kind of check in and see what's this about, and if it's something that does need to be talked about, I can go in a calmer space and talk about it.
Now I go through a different thing when that happens, equally valuable, but it's different. When I see her go out, I go, oh crap. And I start to think about, what did I say? How did I say it? Was it kind or necessary? Remember that old saying? First you ask yourself if it's true. Don't do it if it's not true, unless it's a prank and then those are okay. Then ask yourself, is it kind or necessary? It's got to be one of the two. Sometimes letting somebody go will not be a kind thing. It won't feel kind to them, but it might be necessary. Okay, so while she's there, I'm going, did I say everything? Was it kind or necessary? And 99% of the time, I find a way I could do it better in the future, and I apologize. So she comes back in not wanting an apology 99% of the time, and then I'm ready to give her an apology 99% of the time, and 1%, okay, and so that's what's really good about not going into reaction mode like that, okay? Going into response. And if you're not filled up, you're not going to say nice things, and you're not going to do it. So he gives this really great example, kind of like the drowning example. So, you've got a teenage child, and you're teaching them to drive. And you said, we're going to start off real simple. In and out of the driveway. Just go to the end of the driveway, learn how to use the brake, check your rear view mirrors, look at the side, and then pull back into the garage. You know how far you can go, hit your brake, everything's nice. Just get some practice. And one day, that kid forgets to open the garage door. They put it in reverse, and they know about how much and they gas it, and all of a sudden you hear this horrible sound. You run out of the house and you see your teenage child in tears, car not looking great, garage door ready to be replaced. In that moment, 99.9% of us would not be filled up with love. Something emptied out, a quick leak happened. Oh my God, this kid, you know. That is not the time to have the discussion with them about what happened. So what you might do is you might say, I know you didn't do that on purpose. I'm a little freaked out right now, and I need to kind of fill myself up. I love you. I loved you before you did that. I loved you during it, and I'll love you after. That doesn't change. But I'm freaking out. Then I call my other friend. I want to kill my child. And what my other friend will do is help raise me back up. I understand. I might feel the same way if something like that happened to me. You know, it's only metal and plastic and stuff like that can all be replaced. It'll all be okay. And while we're talking, I'm getting filled back up again. And from a place of filled up, I can go back and say, we kind of need to talk about what happened. I love you still, but your allowance for the next 10 years. Because consequences and discipline and accountability are not, you're not lovable. It means you're lovable and there's accountability and there's consequences, okay? And there's, if you're a parent, there's discipline. As long as the love is there, he says the kids will, two things will happen. They will, number one, know they're lovable, or at least have a better opportunity. Some things you just can't do because they came in with a soul contract, and no matter what kind of parenting you do, they're going to live that soul contract. You have two kids, got the same mom and dad, turned out different? Anybody? Okay. So there's soul contracts involved. My theory is there's a trinity of things that work with everything in your life. There's your soul contract, there's the law of attraction, your words, thoughts, and actions, and then there's 8 billion other people's words, thoughts, and actions. So there's 3 things happening. Don't put it all on you. You might not even know that you agreed at a young age to get a debilitating disease so you could get an empathy and a compassion from that, even if you ate right. We were talking this morning. One of the things that helped me realize that there were soul contracts was when my mom, who did everything wrong, smoked cigarettes from 10 to 76, ate anything she wanted, never thought about any of that kind of stuff, did everything wrong, lived to 76. And Wayne Dyer, who did everything right, lived to 74. You think maybe some soul contract was involved, or was it all just law of attraction? You see, there's all kind of stuff going on that we don't know. And we put this pressure on ourselves. We feel guilty. Remember, we took Catholic and Jewish guilt and we brought it into new thought. And now we feel guilty that we're not doing the law of attraction right. You see, that stuff tries to get us no matter what. Invite guilt in and show them the door. invite them in, I acknowledge you, and showing you the door. What's happening when you go back to the kid or even one of your friends that hurt your feelings or disappointed you, or Facebook, is you can speak from a filled up standpoint. And when you speak from a filled up standpoint, your words are going to be more pure. Your words are going to be more kind. They're going to be more loving. They can still be firm. They've even proven that children that knew they were loved but were disciplined firmly felt more safe in the world because they felt there was structure and safety in it. I always think about the movie Temple Grandin, where she found out that these prey animals felt better when they had something on each side of them, making them feel safe. And that's what boundaries and structures are. They make you feel safe sometimes. You say, oh, my kid will love me more if I let him do everything. They might love that you let them do everything, but they don't trust you. They don't trust the world because nobody was there setting those healthy boundaries. But it's got to be from a place of unconditional love. And that way, we all work together because we're all just a bunch of kids playing with a bunch of kids. And as Ram Dass says, we're playing and eventually we're walking each other home. Now, we went into our 60s recently, and we're noticing that a lot more people that we know are going home. And I don't like it, but I know it's the right thing for them to be going home to spirit. But I'll tell you, it's not getting better. And so, and a lot of friends, one of our friends, you may know her. She's been here to sing a few times. Her name is Spring. She made her transition on her 55th birthday on May 2nd. And, you know, a lot of people say, well, that she lost her battle with cancer. Well, okay, she lost her battle with cancer, but she won a battle with life, because life doesn't end. Somebody said to me one time, life is eternal. There's birth and rebirth. Yeah. And the end is just a rebirth into another life. And that makes me feel a lot better when I see somebody's getting ready to die. No, they're going to be reborn. Doesn't that feel better? Anybody else noticing a lot more people are being reborn lately?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't need to be born again because I got it right the first time, but I am glad. I'm welcoming being reborn. Hopefully not anytime soon. Anybody see a man called Otto?
Yes.
Crazy. We just showed it to our aunt. She said she's seen it for 10 or 15 years, pretty much every year. She's going that direction where she doesn't remember all these things. And I thought I can either argue with her or say, you were one of the very few people that saw this movie 10 years ago. And she feels great. So yeah. And that's true in a lot of things. You can either argue with people's reality or just get in the boat with them. You know, it's a party going on, you know. All right, so many years ago, Oprah had, we used to watch this thing called The Oprah Show. And then we had this thing, this antiquated dinosaur thing called a VCR. And we put a tape in there and we tape it because it was not a good timing. And then at 9 o'clock at night, we'd watch The Oprah Show. And one day she had a couple of gentlemen on. Both these gentlemen, if you watch your show, you'll remember there were a couple of gentlemen that had been in jail for like 10 or 15 years, and each of them had been convicted for taking the lives of family members. They got off of that because of technology, DNA testing. DNA testing and science. Science is real. Science found that it wasn't them. Couldn't have been them because the wrong DNA. And there are people out there in that world that are doing everything they can to get wrongly accused, innocent people out of jail. It's a fabulous organization. The Innocence Project, I think it was called. So they both got out. Everybody was happy. Everybody's having a good time. Oh my God, you must have suffered, but you're out. Do you feel remorse and everything? But they didn't. They said, you know what? That's not going to really do us any good. What's going to do us good is to make the best of the life that we have now. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Make the best of the life that we have now, because remorse is like taking poison, hoping the people that hurt you die. And that doesn't work because it makes you die. Okay, a little bit inside. So, but then the men said something that actually freaked out Gail and Oprah and everybody. They both had confessed to the crime. I'm like, what? You confessed to doing something you didn't do? And the men tried to explain it the best they could. They said, look, We were traumatized. Family members were gone. We were taken in. We were the suspects. We were interrogated. It was a combination of confusion. You think you might be confused in a situation like that? Put in jail? But even beyond confusion, just wanting the voices of attack to stop. Well, if you just admit it, we'll stop bugging you. If you just admit it, we'll lower your sentence. If you just admit it, we can get through this. And, okay, I did it. Leave me alone. And I started weeping in that show. Angelina goes, what's up? And I said, we all have a version of that. People told us when we were young that there was something wrong with us. We were the wrong sex. We were the wrong orientation. We were the wrong height. We were the wrong color. We were the wrong social class. Something's wrong with us. And eventually a part of us said, if I just agree with you, will you shut up?
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I just said, you're right, I'm a loser, thanks. I'm a loser, baby, so why don't you just kill me? That's a song like that. There's a part of us that does that. And I started weeping and I said, if we only get to know that we are innocent, we will be free of this guilt and this shame and this prison that we're in. So I want to sing the song that I wrote after watching that episode. This is called Innocent. Young kid who served his prison time for a crime he did not do. He gave a false confession, and when they asked him why, he said, I did not know the truth. He was innocent. Thought about my own life, how I was like that kid when they told me I was bad. I offered my confession to what they said I did and lost the childhood I once had. I am innocent. I did nothing wrong. I've been serving time for this crime for way too long. I am not to blame for what I didn't do. There is nothing I need to prove. I am innocent. We are innocent. Time for justice. We're finally getting it right. We're finally hearing the whole truth. You know what I did? I fired all my juries, gave myself a pardon I deserved, and now I'm free of the inmates too. You are innocent. You did nothing wrong. You've been serving time for this crime for way too long. You are not to blame for what you didn't do. There is nothing you need to prove. We are innocent. We did nothing wrong. We've been serving time for this crime for far too long. We are not to blame for what we didn't do. There is nothing we need to prove. I am innocent.
You are so lovable.
You are innocent.
Who you are is so important.
We are innocent.
You deserve so much love.
There is nothing we need to prove. I am innocent.
You are amazing.
You are innocent.
You are perfect in every way.
We are innocent. I now pronounce us
Not guilty.
So one of the things that I'm most challenged by is guest speakers that use the pulpit as an opportunity to self-promote. I'd like to read a chapter from my book. Not really a chapter, just the finale. Because we're at the finale of this message. And this is called, I Now Pronounce You Not Guilty, that I did in 2018. So here we are, part of the tapestry of the universe, playing our parts perfectly and divinely. We have more than enough evidence to convince any jury of our innocence. There are very few limits to our capabilities. No matter how hard we try, it's impossible to be unlovable. It's equally impossible to get it wrong. I know that I've tried. It's absolutely impossible to be anything less than the divine, eternal, worthy, innocent beings we have always been. Thus, it's ultimately impossible for us to ever be truly convicted of not being enough. In that case, an acquittal of our original case is inevitable. And so it is.
And so it is.
Thank you. And now a word from our sponsor.
You see this beautiful scarf that Angelina is wearing? Isn't that pretty? I'll tell you more about that in a minute. So today is just a beautiful day to have visitors and to have guests with us and to be inspired by a different voice and still the voices of truth and what we believe. So I want to thank everybody for being here because imagine if this space was empty. Imagine what that would be like for us, for them. So we're grateful that you're here. We're grateful for your support. We're grateful for your presence. We're grateful for your service. We're grateful for all the snacks people brought. And if you want to support our community, we welcome that with an open heart and open arms. And there are many different ways to do that. It's service, it's donations, and there's a little flyer back there that makes it really easy for you to give any way that you prefer to give. So Armand and Angelina, they want everybody to have their music. Now, as I say, that's a way to take them home with us. So they offer their CDs on a suggested exchange basis. Isn't that generous? So take what you desire, give from your heart, and feel free to tithe in the future if you're not able to now. And as you can see, that's one of the beautiful things that Angelina has at the table out here with all their music and the beautiful flutes. I have one, I love my flute. And Armand told me they don't make that one anymore. It's like a dull one.
It's just like this one, they stopped making.
Yeah, I know, and I have one, and it's a special one, right?
Yes.
So take a look at that, and that's a wonderful way to support them and their calling. And we have a little bit more music with Armand and Angelina,
Yes.
and I think it's a sing-along.
Awesome, yes, and we're going to do two things real quickly. First off, today at 12:45, 1 o'clock, after you're refreshed, we're going to do our heart healing meditation in here. And then tomorrow night at 6:30, our musical comedy show where we took all the comedy from all of our different shows and put it into one thing, plus Angelina wrote a bunch of skits. I'm going to teach you a little song that if you sing it, especially when you're going through relationship challenges with people that are not giving you what you want and what you deserve, you can sing these simple words. I love myself more than I love you loving me. I love myself, my love. I love myself more than I love you loving me. I love myself, my love. I love myself more than I love you loving me. I love myself, my love. Okay, so for our finale from the movie, The Best Exotic Marigold Hotel, whenever they would complain to the innkeeper, see, I'm tying it in, squirrel. Whenever they would complain, he would always say, everything will be okay in the end. And they would say, yeah, but it's not okay now. Well, it must not be the end. So this is our version of that. This is our song, Everything Will Be Okay in the End. Oh, it's a calypso beat. Come on. Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. That's your part. Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. Nothing in this universe will ever last. So if you're feeling low, this too shall pass. Nothing in this universe will ever last. So if you're feeling low, this too shall pass. Because everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. We're gonna sha-la-la-la, sha-la-la-la-la, sha-la-la-la-la-la. Every happy song has some sha-la-la-las in it. Sha-la-la-la-la, sha-la-la-la-la-la. Even when the darkness seems to hide your way, after every night, a brand new day. Even when the darkness seems to hide your way, after every night, a brand new day. A brand new day. A bright and sunny day. Everybody sing it now. Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. You ready to sha-la-la, Eileen? Sha-la-la-la-la, sha-la-la-la-la-la. Sha-la-la-la-la. Sha-la-la-la-la-la. Okay, here comes the tricky part, new block people. Even when it all just seems to go your way, don't get attached, it's gonna change. Even when it all just seems to go your way, no matter how many times you saw the secret, it's still gonna change. That's okay because everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. Just the audience. Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. It's not the end. It's not the end. Make some noise. It's not the end. No. We have 400 people here today. TV land, you can't get what we're getting by being there, so come join us. Thank you.